Yes, I mean, we have to be much more ambitious. We see that time is running out. I mean, everything, around us, the melting of the Arctic, which goes much faster, etc., etc. So the countries really need to be much more ambitious. And I think one of the problems is that how do you implement the NDCs, so the national climate strategies, in a way which really is good for the people and the planet, right? And how do you finance it? And how do you get everybody on board? And so for our organizations of the Women and Gender constituency, we say you have to use the instruments which we have created. And at the last COP, we agreed on a gender action plan. And we are convinced that through the gender action plan, you can involve another large part of the population which so far was not actively involved. You can make sure that the Paris Agreement does not create negative side effects, not extra discrimination of women or men, but that really this is something which creates jobs, which involves all parts of society, and which also looks at those who are most left behind and who really need solutions which are helping them to survive in the area of adaptation, in the area of mitigation. And so that's why we believe that the process, which they call the APA here, is, so it's the ad hoc working group on the Paris Agreement, is trying to make a rule book. And how do you then have rules which really help you to implement and to be faster in the implementation and efficient in the implementation, and to get everybody to contribute with funds to the implementation. And we believe it's essential that this rule book includes very good elements on human rights, on women's rights, gender equality, indigenous people's rights, public participation. Yeah, we're very happy. We will be able to speak at the Talanoa Dialogue on Sunday. And it is really about sharing practices which can be easily scaled up and help to implement the Paris Agreement. So we'll be sharing a practice from Georgia, which is a country in Eastern Europe, where we have an office and where we've been working for the last 15 years with local rural organizations, creating energy cooperatives, equitable gender cooperatives, so that you have equally men and women in decision making. And they produce locally made solar water heaters, energy efficient stoves for the local needs. And in these rural areas, people have a huge need of clean and safe energy because they are using wood. The wood is often illegally sourced. It contributes to deforestation, but also to landslides. So you really want to support a fast change to solar energy solutions and energy efficiency solutions. So we're presenting that example as a good example, but also lessons learned how difficult it is to get the work done in the rural areas by these cooperatives into the national strategy, into the NDC. The government from the beginning said we really like this. They developed a NAMA, which is an appropriate mitigation action. They submitted it for funding to donors, but it hasn't been funded yet.